Wait, we do have Friday theme song music. Hello, live, live, live. La hello,
Wow, there's a lot of different intros
Yeah,
now.
damn.
live from the middle finger on my right hand, where I cut myself gathering leaves near my rose bush at 7 a.m. this morning, because I just wanted to get the hell out of my COVID fog that is my house. This is all true. It's a somewhat normal Business Pants Friday, featuring a special fancy expert from down under.
Yeah.
That's right. The best
I haven't had a
kind.
fancy expert in a while. It's we have a journalist, ESG journalist,
She's a
Yes.
journalist. She's like a real
real
person.
A
person.
real human.
Like we're a mess.
Joined as always by Ari, the jury queen, data lady.
Hello.
Emma, I signed a 68-month lease, lurking, and Matt repaints his house every time the sun sets. Mascardi, I'm 37.5% of a functioning human being, which is actually up from normal. So maybe I should be
Yes.
thanking COVID.
That's right. You should
Good
be
job.
licking handrails.
Welcome to the Friday show, where here's what we do. We go over all the fun categories. I cover story of the week. Ari, you're being bumped up the roster this week. You're doing the goodliest of the week. You're after me today.
All
because-
right.
We're starting
As we've
good.
learned, if we let Emma and Matt talk first, we're so depressed that by the time we get to Ari's stories, we're just jaded
Nothing
and
seems
ruined.
good. Yeah.
I don't
thank
talk
you.
before Ari. I always go after Ari.
Well, you still just
Just
your
Matt.
presence.
Now
kind of
you're
is-
going.
brings us
Now
down.
you're going to irritate us last.
Matt covers as holiest of the week, and Emma with irritatingest of the week, which I don't know. Is that it? Almost feels like the same category in some ways.
We actually have Punks and Pinstripes minute
Wait,
in the middle
what?
of asshole of the week. Greg
Oh, so we have
Larkin. We
a
have
bunch of
special
fancy
experts
experts.
everywhere.
So
Everywhere.
we have Greg Larkin today. We have Rachel Allen Bacchus. Help me with that pronunciation, am I
That's
right?
correct.
That's
You
it.
nailed
Alright.
it. You finally nailed something.
Well, I think because it's a Greek surname, I too have a Greek surname, so it's the one thing I guess I know.
Wallace. Come on.
Can't handle that.
No one would be like, oh, that's a
Was
Greek
this shortened from like Raleighpolis?
Except the problem is, is that my dad was named George Rollis, and the Prime Minister of Greece in the '80s was also named George Rollis. So you can shove it, Matt Mascardi. So.
Nobody
Damn.
cares. Literally nobody cares. Not me.
All right, here we go.
or
Story of the week.
anyone
Come on,
else.
let's do it.
Let's do it. Story of the week. Let's get we're getting timers up. We're gonna get some timers up for this. Go.
Wow.
Counting down.
Oh boy.
As Emma can
You've already
attest
wasted
to,
time.
it's fine. I'm not gonna use my full 5 minutes. As Emma can attest, it's been the business news has literally sucked
Yeah.
since Elon Musk has decided
Oh,
in a
Twitter.
petulant fit to try to buy Twitter. It's almost like nobody cares about anything else anymore. So my stories are kind of shaped around that, and my the fact that 2/3 of my house has COVID, and I really am not enjoying this week. So the first story of the week is my home, which is full of COVID. That's the first story of the week. Okay.
All right.
Second story of the week is a bit more serious, and this is like a question for the future, but it is something that we should be answering here and thinking about, which is how will corporations react to the end of abortion rights? This is something that Matt
Ooh.
touched on earlier in the week, but this is the sort of the looming story in the corporate world. At least it should be. And unlike a lot of the social justice movements that we've covered in the past, most companies, except for tech, I think, are really scared of this issue. I don't know why. Because we're talking about an issue that directly affects more than half the population and indirectly affects much more than that. So I don't know why they're suddenly shy about a social justice movement. But anyway, that's the second story of the week. The third story of the week I just threw in there because it's just the most ridiculous, and it just sort of represents our times. Snap CEO Evan Spiegel says he's banned the word metaverse at his office. So I guess it's at least our first official jump the shark sighting of the metaverse. Like I guess it's officially a loser statement. So I guess what he's saying is that Mark Zuckerberg is officially the loser. I think that's what he's saying, right?
Really? He just
Officially.
realized. He just like
I don't
woke up.
understand.
Oh, it's just official. Oh, okay.
Ari, the idea here is that he does not. I guess he's banning the word metaverse from the office at Snap. They're into something called augmented reality. He hates the term metaverse. He thinks it's nonsense. Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh,
I see.
And the fourth story of the week is my dull brain, which kind of overlaps the first story of the week. So, you see, I have 2.5 minutes left in my segment.
Well, I
you
think
guys,
your problem
yeah, go ahead.
is
His
that
first
you
vote, Matt Biscardi.
canceled yourself out with my
I don't know.
COVIDy home and my dull brain.
I'm so depressed. I have no idea.
Cancel each other out. So those
Sure.
can't be the story of the week because I could not possibly choose between those two.
Okay.
Which one is more story of the week?
I've seen
Evan's,
a bunch of statements from companies though, so I don't know how number 2 is going to work.
Well, talk about
I've
it.
seen
You
no
have?
statements about
Yeah.
Damien's COVIDy home either. So it also makes that less
Yeah.
of a story of the week.
You've seen a bunch of statements because I don't see this something that a lot of them seem reluctant. Is all I'm going to say, except for tech. We have seen some movement in tech.
I don't think anyone's going to actually pick up and leave, which is what they should do, in my
Right.
opinion.
Bingo!
However,
Well, they're
they are
predicting
like,
Ari.
oh, we'll
Yeah.
throw you money here in case you need an abortion. We'll fly. Like, it's a vacation package. So there's been a lot of that. And
Well, yeah.
like Amazon, I think, committed $4,000 or something in case somebody needed to travel to have certain procedures done. But it doesn't extend to their part-time workers or their contractors.
Contract workers.
Yeah,
And
but
Emma,
Levi's, for example, they are being super nice and
Right.
giving it to everybody.
Look at this mood from Ari today. Emma, you could have buzzed her like already 3 times. That she's suggesting that a corporation helping a woman go to another state to get an abortion is a vacation package. I mean, that's the buzz of all buzzes, Emma. I mean, what a horrible perspective, Ari. I'm sorry.
I'm right there with her.
But here's the thing, is that a lot of these states, and I think about 26 states could outlaw it. These states might not allow these corporations to send these women out of the state. I don't know. They're gonna be
interesting.
cracking down on that too. So clearly, I think you're voting for that as story of the week, right, Ari?
Yeah.
Okay.
So business friendly, those states,
It's 100% the story of the week. And
Well, Matt
there,
already agrees with somebody. It's crazy.
well, yes.
He was going to say it first. That's why I interrupted him.
Spiegel, like metaverse, augmented reality. Get it? Come on. We're all talking about the same thing. You idiot. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut your face.
Why is my timer stopped? Yeah.
But you basically have like what I think the real story about the abortion and how companies react to it is, and why they're afraid of it, is look, companies have been like donating to these political action committees forever, and it's just a matter of time before you get story after story after story about the companies that have donated to basically women rights insurrectionists, like the GOP and Mitch McConnell holding Congress hostage for a year so they could put Brett Kavanaugh and on the Supreme Court, and then fast tracking Amy Barrett to the Supreme Court so that they could overturn Roe v. Wade. And January 6th insurrectionists, the same companies are basically funding those.
Yeah, Matt, but I'm on your side here, Matt, but what makes you think anyone cares about who corporations donate to? I'm with you, but I've yet to see evidence of any movement either from a consumer, a shareholder, about when
That's
or
not
who
true.
companies donate to.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's not
Tell me.
true.
The shareholder movement is actually on the conservative side, where we talked about this yesterday. 28% of the proxies put up by the anti-woke are trying to figure out where these donations are going to. It's about lobbying and charitable donations. And then they're going to like boycott and ban them. And yeah, it's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah,
I just think the companies are in a position where they're petrified that now on both sides, they're going to have story after story about how they are funding everything we hate. I think that's the story of this week.
I guess I've never really seen the evidence that matters to people. I mean, maybe it does matter to them intellectually, but I've never seen action based on the fact that AT&T donates a crap load of money to pro-life groups. I just don't, I've never seen the movement, but go ahead, Emma. What's your vote here?
Mine is the same. It does have to be how corporations will react to the end.
Story of the week: the looming question of the summer: how will corporations react to the end of abortion rights? And even more important than that, believe it or not, is why is the timer stuck on 46? What does that mean?
Because I paused it.
Is that the new 2050? Is it 2046? Is it something you
You
paused the
finished
timer?
yours.
She paused it so we go to discussion.
Then get it out of my eyesight. Why do I have to stare at 46? It's
now you're
haunting
giving
me. It's all I was thinking about the last part of the
You're
story.
giving our
It's
producer
ruining
something.
me.
Okay.
All right, moving
there
on.
we go.
Moving on. Goodliest of the week. Ari, the
right.
data queen.
I
Love
got
it.
you.
See, Ari, I'm so excited about this. You moving up in the show because I actually do feel good still.
All right.
I do. Yeah, I
Here we
do.
go.
Dull COVID Damien feels good right
No,
now.
you guys, Matt and Emma weigh me down every week like a soddened, dirty blanket. But now I'm feeling light and airy, so I'm psyched for Ari.
All
Airy
right.
Ari. Come
well,
on.
here we
do it.
go. My number one is more of a PSA, in case you didn't know. You can't truly own anything in the metaverse. So
Yes, it's
stop
true.
buying
I love it.
Wait, this sounds
virtual
negative.
real
This seems
estate.
negative
Stop
already.
buying. No, I am
Okay.
informing consumers.
Informing.
That is good
Okay.
for everyone. Like, stop buying your Nike sneakers on the metaverse or anything because it's not yours. When you buy an item, and this is for you, Damien, so pay attention. When you buy an item in the metaverse, your purchase is recorded in a transaction in blockchain, right? So that will never disappear. That is there forever. The record says you own a thing. The thing you purchased, the actual product, exists on a metaverse platform, which
Yeah.
you sign up for and you agree to terms of service, right? Those
feeling good.
terms of service agreements, those are centralized and they're under complete control of the single company, of the metaverse platform. And if it's on Meta, the metaverse, then you are
Meta
for
platforms.
sure screwed out of your investment or your item because nothing, like, Zuck just owns everything. He's going to own everything.
What have we done to Ari? What is this? Where's the good Ari? Where's the cheery Ari?
The good is that she's
What's
informing us
happening?
about something
Yeah.
bad.
Okay.
I am, because, I
So-
found.
Are you so you were saying that owning something in the metaverse is kind of like renting your modem from Verizon for your like internet or is that what you're saying? It's the same thing? Like you don't own it?
It's
like
like
having a modem. You own the modem, but it may not work because they decide that you won't
just
get
killed my
internet
analogy.
anymore.
Okay.
I
There
reversed
was
it
your-
to make it accurate.
still
I don't know what you're
feeling
talking about.
airy and high.
I'm not
Damien,
feeling
all
good.
right. Let's
I don't know what you're
Damien, this
talking
is
about.
go
great.
to number 2.
I feel enlightened. Ari, I like that one.
I don't.
Good job.
What
You.
about all the
People are
chuckleheads?
confused.
What about
People
all
are
my
confused.
What about all my chucklehead friends who are constantly buying like NFT metaversey things and then immediately selling them to 12-year-old
well-
zit-ridden losers for an instant profit? Why is that bad? Why can't
They're
they do that?
Zuck didn't turn off the lights on him.
But they're making a profit daily while we sit there and mock them. Why is that bad? Come on, Ari. Time
They
on.
read
Tell me.
their terms
Yeah.
of service. That's all.
Poker players make a profit too sometimes, Damien.
What's wrong with that?
All right.
Nothing.
Number 2. This
I'm
is
not
the
feeling good.
future of the
Come on,
2020s,
Ari.
Damien. Hybrid power plants. Do you know what a
Here we
hybrid power
go.
plant
Now
is?
I'm feeling good. No, tell
A
me.
hybrid power plant combines electricity generation with battery storage
I
on
like
the
it.
same location, on site, often pairing solar and wind farms with large-scale batteries. You'd think that this is already a thing, right? But it's not. But currently, there are a lot of projects in the development pipeline that
All
would
right.
yield about 1,400 gigawatts of generation
a
and
lot?
storage. That
Is
is
that a lot of
that is more than all the U.S. existing power plants combined.
like I say, is it more than Matt's house?
My house is
That's
at
the real
Slightly
question.
more.
1,200 gigawatts.
Okay.
Right. So this is important because renewable sources, they produce
Don't
large
tell Texas.
but varying amounts of power throughout the day, right? So if you add a battery, you can capture that when the sun goes down, it's peak hours and people are turning on their ACs or whatever, then they're able to draw power from that
Right.
storage. So that's really great. And people support renewables. They do have preferences as to where energy produced in their home state goes, though. For example, Rhode Island residents support renewables. They prefer to send it to Massachusetts. They really don't want to send their power to New York. They're like, nope, not New York. Thank you. New
Right.
Hampshire. New Hampshire likes Maine. They really don't like Massachusetts. They're like, nope, we don't want that there.
Oh, and I'm confused again. Okay. Okay.
This is
I
people
thought Rhode
and their
Island was I
choices.
thought Rhode Island was a part of Massachusetts.
Oh boy. All
Is it a
right.
separate state?
Don't start. Don't start.
Don't even take the bait.
Number
okay.
three.
Yeah.
All right, real quick. Vegan eggs versus climate change denier Ted Cruz.
Oh, here we go.
Just Egg celebrated Earth Month, which was last month, and I didn't know it was a whole
Yes.
month, by trolling wraps all over DC with billboards, posters, and a food truck serving pointedly named egg sandwiches, like the Ted Cruz's Cancun vacation.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Right?
No,
I don't
that's
want to
funny.
eat that though. Yeah. Tell me why that's funny.
You know, there's Chipotle aioli and pepper jack cheese. That was vegan pepper jack cheese. Anyway, there were
A
billboards.
vegan Ted Cruz sandwich is funny in and of itself.
True.
Climate change tonight. But there was a billboard that read, "These egg sandwiches are more effective against climate change than Congress." Sad. And
Right. Now I get
Ooh.
it. I like it.
right, and they're really like doing. Oh no, they're really doing all of this
Go,
because
wrap it
you know,
up.
they're calling out climate change deniers and pushing Congress to prioritize climate legislation because we are doing nothing, and if we don't slash methane emissions by 2030 by a third, then we're all dead.
Oh, I get
Eating
it.
an egg
Just
sandwich may
egg.
give me methane, but that's a different problem.
Get
Well,
it?
they're
Get
calling
it, Matt?
attention to it.
Just egg. Do you get it now?
Got it.
Just
egg. Just egg.
Just egg.
Yeah.
egg. Got it. Look,
Anyone want to go
company-
first here?
The company's called
yeah,
Eat
go
Best.
first.
No, I said, does anyone want to go first?
Oh,
I'm
I can go
lost.
first. Hybrid power plants are the future of the 2020s. Makes it hard for me to pick it as the goodliest of the week.
Oh, come on! Don't do that. Well,
I mean-
is this a fair? Can I ask a question, Ari? Do you know who was building these? These are state, like government run, or they're private?
All.
Who?
All.
All. Okay.
Private companies
Sure.
and states can also
And when is the first one going to be
apply to
operational?
connect. They are already. There are some
They
already
are.
operational.
See, Matt, they're already happening.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
already
I'll
happening.
celebrate it when we get to 1400 gigawatts.
Which is good, Matt, because in the 2030s will be the decade of the batteries wars. Like, I shit you not. We'll be
It will
probably
really
fighting.
be. It will really be when the U.S. decides to do something about the grid.
Okay. All right, Matt. That's your. So Matt says no to that.
I say no to that. The PSA on the metaverse I didn't need. So I'm gonna
Because he knows
go.
everything.
No, I've been reading that PSA.
Yeah.
For 5 months.
And
Well,
you're
you
not
wrote it,
clearly
yeah.
stating it on the show because
The
people are still
metaverse
confused.
can
I still
suck
don't get what she's
my
talking
butt.
about.
And that leaves me with vegan eggs versus Ted Cruz, which I have philosophical problems with the idea of a vegan egg.
Well, tell me, what
Why?
are they?
What is it?
It's made out of beans.
Yeah, okay.
You like beans?
So it's a
You
bean.
eat beans for
Call
breakfast.
it, call
Same
it
thing.
beans.
Okay, dairy. You're like big ag right now. Don't call it me.
I don't care about it. I just like that the company trolled Ted Cruz with the Ted Cruz Cancun vacation egg sandwich.
Okay, that's your
Everything about that is great. I'm voting vegan eggs versus climate change.
vote. Here's what I've learned, Ari, is that you don't work at Snap because you're talking about the metaverse right after a story where I said that we're banning the word metaverse. And I'm sorry, but I just don't even understand what you're talking about. I don't get how that story is good.
Of course you don't.
It made me kind of sad that I bumped you up on the roster because that's what you let off with. Like, I don't. So you're saying a PSA is good?
A
Is that what you're
PSA
saying?
is good, yeah.
PSAs are good.
People need to know.
Okay.
And you're
That-
not telling people the facts.
It's true.
2 hybrid power plants are in the future. I'm kind of with Matt on this one. I don't really know what we hear a lot of stories about the future power. Yeah.
I
don't.
should
I
have
don't.
said it's
I
already
don't want to live in the
here.
future. Okay. Well, you put the word future in the title, so I'm gonna pass on that one. I'll just go with Matt because I like the oxymoron of things like vegan eggs. I like that. Unlike Matt, I appreciate the absurdity of that phrase because clearly, what the hell is a vegan egg? I mean, so there you go.
And then they troll Ted Cruz. It's like I'm being trolled five times simultaneously
course.
by the idea of a vegan egg and by Ted Cruz and trolling Ted Cruz. It's winning
Sure.
everywhere.
Emma?
I'm gonna go for the metaverse PSA.
Ooh.
To know, I felt better about my life knowing that information, so it was good to me, and that's what I'm sticking
Okay.
with.
You know, it's funny because Ari's the same woman who had a a somewhat passionate conversation with me a few months back about how much she supported blockchain
You are
transactions.
conflating two
I'm just
different
that's where I'm
things that I
lost with
tried.
you.
That's what you're lost. You can't.
That's where I'm lost with you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're doing. I think you should go sit on a jury and judge your peers or something. I don't know.
Still support blockchain. Blockchain's great.
All right, moving on. So the guiltiest story of the week is vegan people trolling
Vegan
Ted
eggs.
Cruz.
Trolling Ted Cruz. I love it.
Although it could be said that just the existence of a vegan is trolling Ted Cruz.
I
You don't
know
have to
that's
say
the best
anything.
part. That's the best part.
All right. Matthew Muscardi as holiest of the week. Take it away. Before you do that, actually, Matt, when are we going to drop the our fancy expert? When are we going to talk about that?
Right now. Okay,
you wanna do it now?
I have 3 assholes of the week, but the first one is brought to you by the preeminent Greg Larkin of Punks and Pinstripes. Greg and I worked together a million years ago, and he is doing incredible things now. And he has our first asshole of the week. Here is Greg.
Wait, he's the asshole of the week?
No. He's
providing
delivering.
this is
us.
This is like on Jeopardy when they have a celebrity deliver the answer.
Read the answer, right? And the asshole is going to be companies who celebrate Mental Health Month this month. Here
Celebrate
it is.
Mental Health Month.
Watch Greg drop knowledge.
This is a Punks and Pinstripes Minute with me, Greg Larkin.
Better be a minute.
Watching companies celebrate National Mental Health Month in the middle of the largest mass resignation in American history is the greatest example of corporate tone deafness in maybe ever. It is like watching a football team who loses every game focus on upgrading their cheerleading squad. It would be pure, delightful satire if it wasn't so fucking tragic. Because the reason the Great Resignation is happening, companies have a horrible impact on their employees' mental health. So if you're actually in charge of getting this right, there are a few things you should start doing. Number 1, don't celebrate basic dignity like it is a magnanimous act of generosity. You let a new work. You didn't establish the fucking Ford Foundation. Number 2, the perks never the jerks. The free donuts that you offer on Feel Good Friday will be immediately forgotten. Perfectionism and abuse is the leadership norm. Participation is not engagement. Someone who participates in a hackathon or has a drink at your happy hour does not necessarily find meaning in their work. And if they don't find meaning in their work, they're probably going to leave anyway. If you're still talking to me, then come back next week for another Punks and Pinstripes Minute with me, Greg Larkin.
There's Greg. That's Greg.
Matt, is he an enemy of yours? Are you intentionally sabotaging his video? Is that what you're trying to do?
No,
you're
the video was a little bit
You're trying to
jumpy
ruin
when we
him.
played it. But guess what? When we go back and post, it's going to look perfect.
Because
so
nobody
the live
watches
video
live anyway.
is going to get like a little jumpy.
That
Here's
was
a short
beautiful.
version of what
From
he
I
said.
understood, it was beautiful. But
Here's
I
a
like
short
the-
version of what
the
he said.
Perks and Jerks one.
I like his house. I just want to hang out on his couch with him.
He basically said companies that grind humans into the ground celebrating mental health awareness month or whatever. It's
Right.
like if Roger Goodell celebrated concussion awareness, right? Like
Did he say that? I didn't
he
hear
didn't
that.
say that, but I'm giving you the
Okay.
shorthand. He
Okay.
is pointing out the incredible hypocrisy of companies celebrating mental health
Got it.
awareness month.
I like it. I can't
Nailed
wait
it,
next
Greg.
week until we get another minute that I can understand. I cannot wait for that.
Just
And that's
stop it
no
with your tech
that is no
problems.
offense to you, Greg Larkin. It is
Greg nailed
I'm
it.
staring.
Greg
I'm
nailed
staring
it.
at Riverside for
So
screwing
here
this up.
is
Go ahead.
so it's Mental Health Awareness Month. Hypocrites is number 1. Number 2,
Yeah.
the Musk hangers on investors. So this
Oh.
week, Musk got more loans for his stupid investment in Twitter. He's actually reducing his bank loans by finding outside lenders. Basically, it's a bunch of people who want Musk to invite them to his house so they can smoke weed and watch Ron Paul videos, I imagine. But I categorize, we talked about this yesterday, I categorize the investors in 4 buckets. There are the capitalists, the attention seekers, the Muskite libertarians, and the bribers. The capitalists,
bribers, yeah.
yes, the bribers. The capitalists include companies like Fidelity Management, Brookfield, Bamco. These are like old white people investing, and they supplied $851 million. The attention seekers include Binance and a guy named Andrew Medjuk, who's basically himself, who got money from dad. These are people who just they want to get close to the Musk. They want to pay attention to
smell
me.
the Musk.
I want to smell some
Drink
Musk.
the Musk. Yeah.
They gave $993 million. Okay.
Wow, it's a lot. Yeah.
The Muskite libertarians and the bribers are neck and neck for the crappiest investors in the Twitter world. They include the libertarians include Mark Andreessen, Larry Ellison, another venture capital fund. Basically, people who have invested in SpaceX. They're close to Musk already.
Yeah, PayPal mafia types.
The PayPal mafia types that hang out at parties and talk about how they want to take over the world and want to be left alone. And then there is the bribers. I'm looking at you, Qatar and Saudi Arabia. The Prince Al Walid bin Talal bin. There's a lot of. I'm going to say it wrong. There's a prince in Saudi Arabia who's rolling $1.9 billion of equity into this deal. The same prince who said not 4 weeks ago this was a terrible deal, right? Like, this is very clearly, there's something about this investment that all of a sudden we're turning on dimes and thinking everything's great. But the bribers make up $2.97 billion dollars.
I like the fact that the bribers seem to come from a lot of countries that have had a lot of free speech problems.
Yes.
Giving $3 billion to a man who's supposedly trying to bring free speech to
Well, because
Twitter.
they
I like
know
that.
that it's not free speech.
Right, they know it's all a bunch of nonsense.
Come on.
So this is all nonsense. You're all assholes.
Okay.
Just stop it. And
Got
then
it.
number 3, my number
Yeah.
3 asshole of the week is enemy lists. Okay?
Yeah.
We covered how Texas is making enemy lists. We
Yeah.
covered how Peter Thiel has got a list of enemies. You know what? You know who else had enemy lists? Nixon, the famous
Yes.
enemy lists. And
Yes.
Rolling Stone actually put out an article in 2020 about climate enemies, which had
Oh.
CEOs and oil tycoons and
Oh.
Rupert Murdoch on it. Just stop it with the enemy lists.
I
We
can
d-
get behind
My-
that enemy list.
Yeah, but see,
Where's
this
the
is
abortion
problem.
enemy list?
This is the problem. We can make a list of enemies.
Matt doesn't like any enemies list,
Just-
left
just-
or right,
that making lists of enemies is pointless.
like you just did.
Just get some data and invest how you want to invest. Do we need a perpetual list of enemies to a thing? Just stop it. What we end up with is a Texas law that makes 0 sense and no one can understand. And they're hiring woke data companies in order to fulfill their law. Those are my 3.
Ooh, nice. Look at that. Look at, like a professional, he bounces on 5. Now listen, I have to point out once again the brilliance of Peter Thiel for ranting and raving against enemies list as he was listing out
Listing his enemies.
I love it. I love it.
It's the best.
All right, anyone want to jump into this first? Holiest of the week. Anyone feeling this?
Yeah, I can go.
Emma's already there. Come on, do it.
Yeah,
Emma. Come on.
I'm already, the second that Greg started talking, I was like, yeah, 100%. There's just nothing douchier than being like, we care about your mental health, and then doing absolutely nothing to protect people's mental health and actively implement policies to make it worse.
I love free donuts.
Here's
where you're. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Emma. First of all, here's where you're wrong, Greg. I actually don't stop the free donuts. That's terrible. But what I could make out of what he heard, I realize on the podcast that it'll all be normal, but I it was a little bit clipped on my end. But I think Greg is, he's on the edge of brilliance there. I wish I could fully understand what he said, but I'm with you, Emma. I liked his cadence. I liked the style.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the anger. I'm with you, Greg. I'm going for Greg too.
Yeah.
Greg's companies that celebrate Mental Health Month. Yeah, that's my vote.
Ari.
I like lists. So I don't know what you got against lists.
Yeah, Matt. It's
Lists
hard to
are
know if
helpful.
Matt is being tongue in cheek there. We don't really know if he's being tongue in cheek.
They're very helpful. I'm so over Musk. Ugh, delete Twitter. Where's that hashtag? Delete Twitter. I really liked Greg Larkin and
Okay,
his
so we're
Yeah,
gonna kiss
Greg.
Greg's butt.
month. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
Greg
it reminded
Larkin.
me, what's the Sachs?
Goldman?
Thank you. I almost said Golden Sachs. I'm like, that's wrong.
Golden sack.
When they were sending fruit baskets, wasn't that them?
That,
fruit
that is-
Hampers.
That hampers.
The
That is
hamper.
perfect.
Hampers.
Yes.
It's like, give me donuts, don't give me fruit.
And thanks to Greg Larkin of Punks and Pinstripes for donating his time for a Punks and Pinstripes minute. That
Now,
is
will he
the
be here
best
every
of the
week to donate to your category, or what?
He's
how's
going
this
to
gonna
try
work?
every single week. It may not be for my category, but
Okay,
he's
it might just be a
excellent at
general-
ranting. It may
I was
just
about
be
to
a general
say,
minute.
Having
Good.
Greg donate to Matt's category every week might turn out to be a problem because we are all just going to vote for Greg every single
I know.
time.
Yeah, because we don't like Matt.
It's going
But
to
wait,
prove
but-
that Greg should
yeah.
run Free Float Media.
But here's where you're wrong, Emma, because we only really have to kiss his ass one time. We like
True.
Get him to
next
come
week.
back.
Next week I don't care. So
Yeah. True
All right,
enough.
there you go. Assholiest of the week. Companies celebrating mental health. Let's throw it to Emma lurking. Look at Emma. I feel like
Hi.
Emma, I feel like you're almost fully back with us. You almost seem like a normal person today.
To quote Matt
almost.
Moscardi yesterday, he did tell me that I look like I got shot out of a cannon. So I'm hoping to look less like I got shot out of a cannon. So
Wait,
that's
no,
what we're aiming for
we
here.
want that. We want shot out of a cannon look.
That was
Spray it
our
all over
HR
yourself.
moment yesterday.
Okay. Emma lurking with irritatingest of the week. Take it away. Come on.
All right, here we go.
Ooh, timer.
So-
She's putting her timer up for herself. I
Of
love
course.
It. Yeah.
Come on. Okay, so number one, venture capitalist John Doerr gives $1.1 billion
Ooh, I'm
to
glad you're covering
Stanford
this.
to
Yes.
fund climate research.
Mhm.
I'm also glad I'm covering this because it really sucks. It sucks super hard, and
Yeah,
I don't
why?
think that the headlines convey it super well. So this is just me. This isn't even facts. This is just
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
my thought process.
Your
I
category.
can't think of a worse way to fight climate change than to hand over $1 billion to one of the richest private institutions in the world who does
Right.
nothing than pump out tech founders who are contributing to the problem. Like, it just isn't jiving for me. I don't know about anyone else, but here are some actual facts. So John Doerr, I don't know, he's a venture capitalist. He has invested early in everything you can think of, from Intuit to Google to anything, whatever. And so he's worth about $11 billion himself. So the only interesting thing about that is that he is actually giving up a semi-significant amount of his net worth. So,
Debatable.
a
Yeah,
billion,
keep going.
don't get me wrong, but it's more than most.
Yeah.
But he was an early backer of Amazon, which is one of the biggest corporate polluters around. Thank you, John. And he is listed as one of the founders of an immigration focused lobbying group that is, let me be clear, immigration focused lobbying group means there's some left-leaning tech founders who are lobbying for various things under the guise of a progressive agenda, but really it's for corporate interest. And this is proven better by nothing than the fact that it is primarily funded by Mark Zuckerberg. And back in 2013, this group was in support of the Keystone Pipeline. So I'm confused about John's dedication to the cause here. That's
Got it.
number one.
Yeah, John
Number
Doerr.
two,
Mm-hmm.
Shell reports a record $9.1 billion profit.
Also
I just-
terrible.
I would
Yeah.
just like us to like go back in time for a second when everyone was all concerned for these oil companies. Remember that? Remember
Yeah.
when it was
Like
headlines?
last month.
Yeah, like the following. Here are two old headlines from both of which are from 2020. Oil companies are collapsing, but wind and solar
Yeah, New York
energy keep
Times.
growing.
Yeah,
Yep.
collapsing. I like
Yeah.
it.
Collapsing. Struggling oil companies are taking advantage of U.S. coronavirus aid.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep.
Oh, that's irritating.
So weird how less than 2 years later, oil companies are breaking profit records. They really made good use of that COVID aid, huh? So,
Breaking profit records on the heels of a war.
interesting, right?
Yeah, interesting, yeah.
Weird.
Mhm.
War does that.
Number 3.
Yep.
Starbucks plans to increase wages that won't apply to unionized workers. So I
Yeah.
already know that this one is going to be a bust with Matt and Damien because they're going to say
Wait,
some
what?
shit like, "Why are you surprised by that?" You know?
No, I'm with you on this one, Emma. And you know
Okay.
what? When I just looked at the page, I thought you said it could be a bust for Matt Damon. I was like, what? Why would Matt
Yeah, yeah.
Damon be against this?
I have
Damon-
definitely.
No, I'm with you, Emma. I'm with you on this
Logically.
one. I'm with you on
Okay.
all these. You are the queen of the show. You always nail your category. So I'm 100% with you. Come
Thank
on,
you
go.
so much. Well, also Matt Damon super quickly. I have definitely said your
Yeah.
names together before and just said Matt Damon by accident. And I've
Fine,
done it enough
fine.
times now where I've stopped fixing it. So you are Matt Damon to me in a way.
Yeah.
Um,
I just watched Good Will Hunting again, so it's fine. Go on. Go
okay,
ahead.
great. All right. So, but this genuinely irritates me because this is illegal. No, this is illegal. You are
Feels-
not allowed to punish people for labor organizing or being part of
Yeah.
a union, nor are you allowed to withhold benefits and raises from them for being a part of a union. There's nothing that doesn't suck about this. But additional information that you might want to have is that Starbucks has already promised to make their minimum wage $15 an hour by this summer, and that there are going to be like incremental raises for longer term employees depending on how long you've been there. So I don't
Okay.
know exactly what the scope of this is going to look like, but it's happening until someone intervenes, hypothetically.
Yeah.
And
Wow. Yeah.
those are my 3.
Thank you, Emma. I mean, those are 3 tough choices.
I'm
Thank
actually
you. And-
surprised that Starbucks is just getting to $15 an hour.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And I'm glad you covered all 3 of these. These are actually 3 headlines that stood out to me this week that we didn't cover. I'm glad you pulled them out of our list there. But these are all equally compelling. I don't know. Anyone want to start this off?
This is hard.
I'm torn.
It is hard. I mean, I wish I
Is
knew a
there
bit more
anything
about.
more
Yeah.
annoying about Shell or an oil company with record billion-dollar profits?
We
How
lived
about-
through this before. This doesn't. That one's the least irritating to me.
That is so
Well, how about
irritating.
but to me it's actually extra irritating because Emma sort of expertly put it right after the fact that a rich dude is giving 1.1 billion to fund climate research right before Shell was recording a 9.1 billion profit. So
Yeah.
it's maddening in a lot of different
Stanford.
ways.
Ugh.
I wish I knew more about John Doerr though, but I appreciate the sentiment there. You're right about the awkwardness of tech backers.
What I can tell you,
Yeah.
this might
Yeah,
sway
go
some
ahead.
opinions. So when this Keystone Pipeline thing happened with, it's called, oh gosh, what's it called? I think it's called Forward, like FWD. And it's just a lobbying group that is back in, its reputation is that it is a left-leaning lobbying group for ultra-rich people, for tech founders, mostly obviously driven by Mark Zuckerberg. But in 2013, when the group finally, I expressed, however they expressed it, their support for the Keystone Pipeline, people left. People were super upset with this decision because it wasn't in line with their values, hypothetically. And then Elon Musk, who was a part of this, left. He said, nope, the Keystone Pipeline, like, too bad for the environment, too bad for like he left, and John Doerr stayed. So
He was worried about selling his cars.
true.
I'm ready to vote.
Go for
I'm
it.
gonna go to my old favorite, and that's there's something about the Starbucks about Schultz that I just hate Howard Schultz so much. And the audacity of, even if it like doesn't come to be, but the audacity of putting out, press releases and headlines or whatever, that you're kind of threatening the workers who've unionized by not getting, the whole thing just smells terrible to me. I hate it. Like, because obviously it's meant as it's a tactic to scare future potential unionizers too, right? Like there's all kinds of dirty
Definitely.
going on there, and I just that one really got to me. So I'm
New
gonna put my
people
vote on
joining the
that one.
company aren't going to want to
Just
unionize.
all of it. I
Yeah, it's
hate
bad.
that so much. I'm gonna vote for that. Anyone else
They
have a
all,
vote?
Emma, great job. They all irritate me. It's great.
Emma knows how to
I'm
be
gonna-
irritated, and she knows how to share her irritation.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Stanford donation.
Yeah, that
Ugh.
one's tough.
Any big reason why, Ari?
Yeah. Oh, everything about
Just makes you
Stanford
feel
just
gross.
makes my eyes roll,
Wow,
especially when they get $1 billion extra dollars.
Matt, we've officially brainwashed Ari. I think we've officially ruined her.
Well, so I have to the irritating. Here's my thought process. The
Yeah.
irritating thing about the shell is not actually the profit. It is the headlines
From last
about the
year.
collapse of oil
Yes.
2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not the profit.
Collapse of oil.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, New York Times, come on. The collapse of what? Dude, is this what we're at? Is it all search engine
Struggling.
optimized? Is that what we're
Yeah,
at?
maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe it is.
The John Doerr giving 1.1 billion to Stanford, that's irritating for us, but it's so in line with what is like the world we live in. Like, it's just,
Right.
of course John Doerr is going to give it to Stanford. He's like a Stanford guy. He's on the board of Amazon. He's on the board of
Is he?
Google. Like, yeah,
Okay.
he's on. He's not going to go outside of that zeitgeist. But he has actually been really active in like climate change funding stuff, right? Like, so it's irritating because it's libertarian university, but it's also kind of like it's within his zeitgeist. Starbucks is next level terrible. It is I'm never jealous of humans except for right now when I'm jealous that Emma picked out the asshole of the week in Howard Schultz through the
Yeah.
most irritating story of the week.
Yeah.
Do you know what he said? He
No.
said in a shareholder call, quote, "We do not have the same freedom to make these improvements at locations that have a union or where union organizing is underway." Hey, Howard Schultz, go fuck yourself. Are you kidding me? You absolutely have
I like
that
this.
freedom.
Matt, Greg, Larkin, Mascardi. I
Prior-
like it. Come on.
Prior to actually them unionizing, Starbucks had the freedom to do this anytime it wanted. The reason why you're not doing it is because you're using the union against people who wanted the freedom in the first place. It's literally the worst kind of tactic. And yes,
Dude,
it's
yeah.
probably illegal, but what he's done brilliantly and terribly is put the unions in a place where they actually have to go to court to get the same freedoms as everybody else because they're in a union. It's horrifically terrible. Howard Schultz, go fuck yourself. You are definitely the irritating list of the week. And if I could make him asshole of the week, I'd make him that too.
Wow.
I'm actually kind of surprised. I wonder how long Starbucks is going to keep this going, because he's really been a train wreck.
He is
starting with the
horrific.
Holocaust blanket
Oof.
analogy, which is one of the worst ever. But I can't help but think that this is going to make more people vote for the unions, because it is this kind of fear mongering and union baiting. I just don't think this is going to like work well with workers at Starbucks. I just think they're gonna vote against him. That's what I think is going to happen.
I literally want to fight somebody right now. So I think this was a successful.
Well,
segment.
you could probably fight Greg Larkin on his couch.
No,
I
Greg.
bet he'd be
Greg
open
and
to that.
if Greg was on the show live right now, he'd be
Yeah.
like, "Now I'm pissed I didn't take Emma's story."
Well, as I said before, we've said in the past, Emma's good at this. She's good
Thank
at this
you.
show. All right,
Thank you so
let's wrap
much.
up this week. So the most irritating story of the week: Starbucks plans wage increases that won't apply to unionized workers. So before we get out of here, 2 quick categories: who won the week and predictions. Anyone want to venture into who won the week?
I
For me,
can.
the choice. Yeah, go ahead.
It was easy. It was Greg and Rachel. They're the
Oh,
best.
look at
Thanks,
you.
Greg and
Look at-
Rachel.
look
what
at
a
you.
suck up.
Of course, the
What a
producer's going to
suck
kiss
up.
the ass of our guests. I like it.
Yeah. Don't
We
you want me
haven't
to?
heard
You're
from Rachel.
welcome.
What if I made you
Well,
pick one of them? What if I made you
Rachel's
pick between
Rachel,
Greg
I'm
and
picking
Rachel?
Rachel.
Okay. So Rachel won the week. Sorry, Greg.
Sorry, Greg.
Yeah.
I think Emma won the week with that story.
Yeah, but I think Emma's been winning like every week.
Well,
This is the
that's-
problem.
No, except for
Yeah.
the week she had pretend COVID. And that's
Yeah.
the
Okay.
week she
Well,
lost.
good segue because I'm actually voting for COVID. I think COVID won the week. Won my week.
That's Damien's house
Yeah.
specifically.
Ari, do you have a vote here? Ari doesn't usually play these last 2 categories, which at first irritated me, but I kind of love it now. I kind of love
Yeah.
that she just drops the ball on these. I almost, if she had an answer, I'd kind of feel let down.
I always forget about these two.
See, exactly.
Yeah, this week sucked, man. I don't know.
Okay, good. Moving on.
Sucking won the week.
Predictions. My predictions is also predictably stupid and COVID-y, and my prediction is that my family members will actually have COVID until 2037, just to torment me because nothing says love like making an uninspired salad with a KN95 mask on. That's
Can I just
nothing
point
says
out
it. Yeah,
that
go ahead.
while Damien's family has a respiratory disease,
Yeah.
Damien's annoyed for himself that
Oh,
they
yeah.
have. Like they're like
Yeah.
hacking up lungs and coughing and feverish and achy, and Damien's like, "This is so annoying to me."
Yeah, except I walk by the windows and I hear a lot of Netflix, a lot of giggling. They're sending me out on like pickup orders, and sometimes I wonder. There's fancy bagels coming in. There's cookies. Sometimes I don't know what's happening. Honestly,
I'm just saying, Damien's annoyed on his own behalf
Yeah.
that someone
I'm annoyed
else
always.
has a disease.
Anyone else with prediction
Also,
here?
I don't know why you didn't
Yeah.
pick 2050. I thought, we
Yeah.
had a theme going with 2050.
2037 to new 2050. Ari, do you have a prediction?
Yeah, I predict that Damien will have COVID by next week.
Oh, see, what
Wow,
are you doing?
there's
Yeah.
a prediction.
You
Yeah.
wanna
Why
come
would
at
you do
me,
that
I'm
to
gonna
me?
Come at you.
That's because you're desperate to get COVID. Like
Look,
you
by
want everything.
then-
You want to do everything once, which is
By
really
then,
annoying.
your family will be getting you bagels.
Fancy
True.
Well, I don't know.
bagels.
I don't have any symptoms yet, so you can go F yourself, Ari. I don't know what to say. Like
Just
this
wait,
is what's
there's
been tormenting me
time.
all week, though. I almost kind of wish I had just gotten it with them because it's
Just
the
take
fear
the
of it.
mask off.
All right, okay, all right. Anyone else with predictions?
Go make out with
Emma?
your wife.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah.
I think
ahead.
that to stay on theme here, I think that
Sure.
Damien is going to
Oh, here we
slowly
go.
but surely dissociate from reality and psychologically immerse himself in the metaverse so he can escape
Oh,
his COVID
Wow,
family.
Damien
That
to the
sounds fine.
metaverse.
That sounds
Just
fine.
Don't buy
yeah.
anything on a metaverse platform.
Wow.
Well-
Yeah. Read the terms of service.
I did buy a meta diaper yesterday at Walgreens, so I'm actually kind of close. Yeah, I'm
Sweet.
kind of close to getting there. Matt, any predictions?
I'm gonna make one real prediction, which is Howard
real
Schultz
prediction.
gets fired by fourth quarter
Okay.
this year.
Great. I love this prediction. Let's linger on it for a second. Who fires him? Like who? The
Your-
board?
Your girl Melody.
He's an interim CEO,
Yeah.
and the board is actually independent in this matter. Like,
Is he on the board? Is he
he
on the
is-
board?
I believe he is not on the board.
Okay.
He's just an acting interim CEO. They are
We have-
supposed to be finding a real CEO.
he
They will
not?
fast track it.
Is he not
Yeah.
like a chair emeritus or something?
Yes, I think he was. I think
Yeah.
he was. All right,
I
Matt
don't
and
think-
Ari,
Yeah.
our fabulous analytics department. For
Mhm.
next week, could we get a peek into the influence scores of Starbucks? I'd like to see how
Yes.
the Starbucks board works because
Yeah.
I actually love this prediction. I think you're dead on. I originally predicted that that good old Roz would take over. Roz, I have the name
He
right?
did. Roz Brewer.
That
Yeah.
Roz would
Mhm.
eventually take over as CEO, and but this is a story that people should be talking about, should be watching. That Howard Schultz is talking himself out of a job at Starbucks. But I would like to see who are the most influential people at Starbucks on that board? Because I want to try to figure this puzzle out.
That's a
All
win.
right.
All right, that's it.
Well
That's the Friday
played.
show for May 6th, 2022. Thank you very much, Greg Larkin. I'm sorry I made fun of the video that Emma played. I'm really making fun of Emma.
And thank you to Rachel
But
Allen
what I
Backus,
heard was
too.
brilliant. And you too,
Rachel played the good game with us and an Australia edition. And trust me, we don't know anything about Australia, so we got schooled pretty good. That was our Friday show. Come back next week for more Business Pants. Goodbye.